that's okay with everybody. Welcome to our first KAL for the fall 2023. And we are doing a top-down seamless set-in sleeve sweater, either a pullover or a cardigan. And this method was invented by Frank Jernigan, who will be here with us next week and to talk about it a little bit. So that'll be nice to hear from him and why he came up with the method. And he probably won't get into the technical part, but you need a software program to work it. So he shared the code with me a couple of years ago, and so I'm able to use it on KnitWiz as well. So welcome everybody. There are 26 people signed up, but I don't think all 26 are able to join for this meeting. But I'm glad that there are so many of you here because it's in the middle of the afternoon in the US. So, and besides myself, Serena is part of my team. She does social media and marketing, and she also does sample knitting as well as myself. And what else can I say? So I am the author of KnitWiz software, and I also like to design sweaters, which is not really the reason I came up with KnitWiz. The reason I came up with KnitWiz is because my one sister is this really good knitter, and she just wants to make her own things. And they never fit because she just wanted to design things, but there was no rhyme or reason. So with this program, she can just plug everything in and they always fit. So that's what made me start out in the first place with it. And that was a long time ago, like 8 years ago, I think. So it's progressed a lot since then. And what else? I guess that's it. Why don't we go ahead and maybe go around the room a little bit? I can look and see who's here under participants, and I'll just start at the top of the list and maybe introduce yourself and a fun fact if you have a fun fact, and whatever you want to say about yourself. So Debbie Linden's the first person, and I know Debbie, and Serena knows Debbie. She was at our first knit-along. So welcome, Debbie.
Hi, everybody. Thanks again, Kathy. I'm going to enjoy being here again. I loved the program. It's really developing, and
thank you.
It's fantastic in terms of the fit. I really enjoyed that. I've been knitting since I was little. I really enjoy knitting, but I enjoyed computer too, which made it good for me to test the program, which was fun. Sorry, what did you want me to say?
That's fine.
Which
sweater are you going to knit?
I'm not sure. I mean, my thoughts are maybe both, but I thought that last time too. It depends on time.
Yeah. Well, there's no time limit.
Right. I'm wearing the Key West sweater. This is my second West I made. This is one of Kathy's designs. And yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm sorry, I'm not thinking terribly well.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I know. You don't have to say anything else. That's fine. And Joellen, how are you?
I am great. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful.
Are you going to knit the Cloisters as a cardigan?
Well, I change my mind all the time. And I've gone from one to the other and the other into one. And I honestly, I am stuck. I want a cardigan and I want that thread that I've already chosen. But also like that, I love those, what do you call those stripes that you've got going on? They're kind of raised.
Yeah.
Is it a ribbing?
It's just a garter stitch actually, but it's intarsia, done with intarsia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I am struggling with putting my foot down and make the decision. I really like both of them. And I don't have the ability, Debbie, to do both. I'm a slow knitter and I am a slow everything. So I'll start at the beginning and probably be the last one to finish. But I'll make a decision soon.
Okay. Well, I was going to say that I'm still working on converting the pullover to a cardigan, because for the stitches, I want them. The Cloisters has a rib, and it's a 3 knits, 7 purls, 3 knits, 7 purls. And that works down straight into a lace pattern that just falls. That's what the lace pattern needed as well. So the rib goes into the lace just perfectly. But for a cardigan, I want the 3 knits to line up at the center, you know, so that then the button band's between the 3 knits, 2 columns of knits.
Makes sense.
So I need to work on the stitch pattern a little bit, and I'll do that tomorrow morning. So I'm going to mail your yarn today after the meeting. Okay.
That sounds great. I'll tell the postman to stand down. He's been on alerted to watch for it.
Serena, oh no, Joan's next. Joan Morgan.
Oh, okay. Hello. I'm in Florida. Grew up in Chicago, much prefer Florida. Made my way down here slowly through some other states. Met Serena at Bay Area Knitting Guild and saw her working on this sweater, and I love top-down things. And so I thought, oh, okay, this would be fun. I just unpinned my swatches.
Oh, nice.
As I blocked them so I could get some measurements, you know, things I never do.
You gotta do that. At least for sweaters.
Yeah, no, I wing it.
Oh my gosh.
Usually pretty good, but not every time. But anyway, I thought I would do this. I have some lovely yarn I bought years and years and years ago that's just been waiting for something to be done with it. So I figured this was a good opportunity to try a test.
Yay. Good. Yay. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And let's see, who's next? Joan, that was Joan. Serena, you're next. You already talked. Do you want to talk some more?
Well, if only if I'm not delayed.
No, you're okay.
I don't want to be delayed, but I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed the cloisters and the interesting technique of Frank shoulders, which is it's a little labor intensive. You have to remember a few things and the techniques, but that's what makes it fun for a knitter, is those shoulders. And then once you get past a certain point, then you can just relax into it, because the pattern's so easy. Yeah. And that's fun too. I can listen to my audiobooks. So I look forward to seeing other people knit the cloisters pull over with me.
Thanks, Serena. Sidra, hi. I know Sidra also, and so does Serena. She comes to Frank's meetings. She's done Franco's before.
And I'm going to be doing another one at the same time doing this.
Oh, wow.
Glutton for punishment, you know. So I've been swatching for my saddle shoulder for one of Frank's patterns. But I guess the most interesting thing about me is parent of a son and triplet daughters.
Oh my gosh, triplets.
Yeah, you met one of the stitches.
Oh yes, I remember. Yeah.
Met one of them at Stitches, so yeah.
Triplets. That must have been something.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
My sister's best friend, who lives in Colorado Springs, she ended up having triplets.
Ah, lucky.
Yeah. So what a yeah, I can't imagine it.
So 2 of them are down still in California, kind of in the Central Valley, Bay Area. And I have my son and daughter are up here in the Pacific Northwest. So
nice.
I them.
Yeah. Are you going to make the cloisters, or are you going to do the intarsia sweater?
Oh, the cloisters.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm learning how to strand properly and not having it too tight. So
oh, good.
Class yesterday.
Yeah. Thanks. Jerry. Jerry's one of the test knitters from Yarn Pond.
Hi. Yeah, I just stumbled upon that email the other day and thought it looked interesting. I've done a few test knits for different people and it's been fun. So
Good.
this one looked really like something I wanted to do.
Well, good. Thank you. Welcome for joining us. I'll tell you a secret. For the first knit-along, I put it up on Yarn Pond weeks in advance. By the time the knit-along started, several people were already finished. So I didn't do that this time.
I was guilty.
No, I don't think you were.
I don't think I finished, but I was well into it.
Well into it, yes. But I also said, there was no, you could start anytime. That's an option. And people did, and then they were ready. But it was also almost summer, so that was part of it. I wanted people to be able to wear their sweaters, their tops. So anyway, so welcome. And there might be a few more Yarn Pond people joining us. I don't know. We'll see. I just put it up really late because I thought, well, there were already 25 people in the group. So,
well,
anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah, so welcome and which sweater Cloisters, because I only put the Cloisters up, and I'll tell you why after we're done with the intros. So Karen, this is Karen Kiesling, and she's also was in the first knit-along as well.
Hi. Yes, I still haven't finished my summer tee because I need to finish the back and then just bind off. But then I realized on the front I measured incorrectly. I thought my arms were much more muscular, I guess, than they were. So I need to take back on the front, and Serena really wants me to, oh no, Cindy wants me to cut it, but I'm scared. So I'm not sure what I'll do, but I need to fix it. So that's what's holding me up is my fear. So that will have to happen. As far as this one, I'm not sure which I'll do. I like the cardigan idea, but I might do the Cloisters just because knowing that Serena's doing it, that would help with if I need help, someone to go to. And I have two kids. One's 29 years old in the Air Force stationed in Guam with his wife, and the other is 19 and she's a sophomore in college. She'll also end up in the Air Force. So, and no, none of us are military people, so we're not quite sure how that all happened. But
she got her pilot's license this summer, right?
She got her. Well, she had her private. When she went into school, she had it. She got her instrument rating her first semester, or the beginning of the second semester, and then she just finished her commercial single engine rating 2 Fridays ago.
Okay.
Most of the summer in Florida at Embry-Riddle in Daytona. So yeah, it was hard because of weather. Weather just has been tough for anything outside.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to her.
Yeah, she's very excited and relieved. Stop the money bleeding now.
Ooh. Let's see, who did we leave out? Muriel.
Oh, hello. I'm in France, so for me it's like 10 p.m.
Wow.
Okay, this is my second test for Yarn Pond. I tried with Little Beanie first. I never knitted a Franco, but seems quite interesting. What else? What should I say?
I saw your projects.
Yes. Oh, you did? Okay. So
beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah. So you have 2 kids?
No kids.
No kids.
No kids. I'm a scientist by daytime. So
okay. Nice. And are you French or are you English? I can't tell.
Oh, I am Belgian and French.
Oh, okay.
So my mother tongue is French.
Okay. But you have practically no accent.
Thank you.
At least from an American standpoint. You sound English.
Yeah. Well, I work with colleagues. I learned English in Toronto and then in Dublin, and then I have colleagues from all over the world in particle physics. So
okay,
probably the person from Chicago might know about Fermilab. So we have the same thing in Europe. So
yeah.
So there I get to practice. We all communicate in English.
Oh, fun. Well, hello. Did I miss anybody? I don't think so.
Nope, I think that was all.
Nope. So the two projects, and almost everyone is doing Cloisters. I am working on the shadow play cardigan, and now where did I? Oh, here's my bag. And this is the swatch for those of you who haven't seen it, the design swatch. And I have a confession to make. That's the. Oh, I'll put myself on.
It's quite visible.
No, that's great, Kath.
Okay, there's the design swatch. And if you look really closely, you can see on the top there are two colors, green and blue, and the same ones that you can see down below. But they kind of make that shimmery effect that I like a lot. However, I started it, I did the short rows, and I had so many ends because you kept having to start and stop with a different color every other row. So 2 nights ago, I ripped it out and I decided on the design that it was either going to be one color or the other on the background. So I haven't fixed that in the design yet, but that's why I didn't put it on Yarn Pond. So that's one of my things that I got to do. But this is one of those projects where you can use either 2 colors, 3 colors, or 4 colors. And this it's called a Bowen cross, and it works really well on this slip stitch weave background because the slip stitch brings the row gauge up so that it ends up looking like a very square, which is really nice for that. And this is the back of it, so you can see it's intarsia.
Wow.
And I'm going to be putting up a video for that next week. But I'll be starting. I've got the back done. I'm ready to start the bow and cross, and it just takes a little while to do a video. So that's my thing for that pattern. And if you don't want to do the intarsia stripes, if you want to do this cardigan without the intarsia stripes, then you just use 1 color across, or you can just use 2 colors and have 1 main color and then 1 stripe color. So anyhow, it depends on what you have in your stash or what you feel like making or how you want it to look. And as we get farther along, I'll probably do some extra swatches in different color combinations. So and a video on how to do the intarsia. It's not hard. It's just slow, very slow. So
very technical. I think it'd be a good learning process to do that, because and that's one of the reasons I keep going back to the cardigan is I love that design on the back.
Yeah.
And I might still do the cardigan and do it in 1 color, and then like you say, I'll go look in my stash and I'll probably have a nice color that I can put for the design on the back.
For the cross, you only need 10 yards.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I bet I can find that.
In the kits, I was going to put in 20 yards so you could do a practice one.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hurt. Probably could do a practice one on the side like a swatch.
Yes,
exactly. With different threads.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Hi, Karen. We missed you before. Karen.
Hi. Hi
How
there.
are you?
Oh, I'm a little under the weather, but I'm here. I don't know. My puppy is wearing me out. Let's just put it that way.
Puppies do.
Yeah, so I'm trying to stick it out, but it's rough.
Yeah. Did you get COVID also? Because I heard it was running rampant in California.
I hope not. I mean, I feel bad. I feel like my energy is so low. I mean, I could be coming down with something, but I don't have any other symptoms. She's just a handful, and I have to do everything on her schedule right now.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
Loss of freedom. Ah!
Well, it only lasts 2 years, not 18.
Thank you for that.
So anyway, let's see. Well, Frank's not here, so he's not going to be able to talk till next week. So the next thing on the agenda was to talk about measurements. Oh, and if you haven't got your project, let me know if you have any questions about that too as we go along. How to get your project. But there were 2 measurements. There's a measurement video that I put out a couple of years ago, and there are 2 measurements that I have come up with better methods. Well, actually, one of them is in the video, but I just want to go over it, and one isn't. The first one is the let's see if you can see me better. Here we go. You can see my chest area. So the first one is the front arm opening. And basically I take a straight knitting needle, I stick it under my arm, and then make sure it's parallel to the floor. And then I just measure from the very top of the bone down to the needle. And it's 8 1/4 inches for me. But I'm a pretty big person, and I'm pretty tall too. Most women is usually between like 5 1/2 and 7. So if your measurement falls much outside of that, then it might be you wrapped underneath, and you don't want to do that. You just want to go from the top bone down to the top of the knitting needle. And it should be comfortably under your arm too. It doesn't have to be stuck way up high or way down low, just comfortable. Because the ease of the sweater is already taken into account in the program. And just to by the by, the ease for the underarm, armhole depth usually is called, is typically 1 1/2 inches. For something that's tight fitting, it might be 1 inch. Or for a raglan, oftentimes it's 2 inches. So that's just a convention.
Okay.
Now, the other measurement is your back neck width. And that's one that people have trouble with a lot. And Suzanne Bryan came up with this method where you take a string, which of course, all my clothes are almost the same color. And then, can you guys see this string? It's kind of tiny. And you just place it around your neck. Now, I have this thing about being choked. I cannot stand stuff that's too tight on my neck. So I like it to come around like that. But some people like it up closer. And that's my back and neck width when I go ahead and I just measure across like this. Just make sure they're hanging down straight and then measure across.
I did that wrong.
And there it is.
Yeah, me too.
Half for me. But actually I use 6 because I like my stuff kind of loose.
Yeah.
So I use 6. But usually people's measurements are anywhere between 4 1/2 and 6 1/2. That's guys as well too. So we don't, that's one of those measurements that doesn't change much. And then the other measurement that's on the design, it will use your cross back, and that's from bone to bone. You can feel it up there. And your cross back measurement is important for set-in sleeves. and this is a set-in sleeve. And the set-in sleeves usually, by convention again, are set in 1/2 inch from that measurement, which is what this design is. So most of them will be like that. And you know, you've seen sweaters or tops where it's pulled in a lot more. That's just a design element, but the convention is a 1/2 inch in, and then it'll fall down from there. And the nice thing about the Franco method is it actually does make a nice bell-shaped curve. Originally, the top-down set-in sleeve sweaters were all designed with like a cone shape kind of, and that it oftentimes is too tight in the upper arm, but the bell-shaped curve will fit really nicely. So I think you'll be pleased with that. And so does anybody have any questions about anything, measurements, the program, the projects? I saw a few people had their instructions already, but not everybody.
So you said you were going to go over how we get our project? Our
yes.
I'm interested in that when you're ready to do that.
Okay,
Sandra was going to ask something first, though.
My question is on the pattern for the cloistered, the knit 2 and purl 7. You have a knit 2 and then a KP 7. That K threw me. It's like I had to look at the pattern a lot. I'm like, wait a minute, you know, that doesn't make sense. So
that's so that the knit is centered or on the side or in the middle, where the purl is centered on, because it's odd numbers, 3 and 7. So okay, it's a knit 3 purl 7, except it backs up 1.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that just really threw me.
I was thinking it meant knit on the right side, purl on the wrong side.
No. You're doing it in the round. There is no wrong side for that.
Yeah, we're doing it. The sample is done is not done in the round. You do a sample, you're not doing it in the round.
Oh, well, you can. Oh. I think I okay. I purl and I knit the same, you know, gauge. So I don't usually do a swatch in the round, but some people purl and knit very differently. So their swatch gauge will be different if they're doing flat versus in the round.
Interesting.
Yeah. It just depends on how you knit and whether you feel like you need to do an in the round swatch, which I never do. Confessions, I guess. Confessions again.
It's hard enough for me to get a square done. It'd be real hard.
I guess I'm confused. Well, what did the KP mean?
Knit and purl.
Knit and purl.
So it's basically a rib stitch. Knit 3, purl 7. Knit 3, purl 7, all the way around. But because it's an odd number and I wanted that knit stitch to be in the center or on the side, or the center purl stitch to be in the center, it depends on your size too, which one is going to be in the center.
Gotcha. Okay.
But since they're odd numbers, I wanted it to be centered. So I wrote the pattern knit 2, purl 7, knit 1, and then repeat. And that works when you're starting those shoulders for the Franco, because that part is knit flat. And that's why I wrote it that way, Sidra.
Okay.
But it is confusing. I know. I didn't have it that way first, and then I thought, no, I have to write it this way. And it works well for the it's just really mostly because of the lace. If it was just the rib, I wouldn't have cared.
Okay.
Probably, but I'm kind of picky. So anyway.
Programmers for you. Very, very picky.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Well, before I show you, I'll just do a quick run through of how to get your project and instructions. I see a new person joined us, Linda Webb. and I wanted to say hi. She's on, her picture's not showing, but I'll just say hi. And
here I am.
Hi. It's nice to meet you. Welcome to our first
Thank
KAL.
you.
So I'm just about to show how to create your project if you haven't, but I think almost everyone has created the project, just not gotten your instructions. And there's a portion where I'm going to share my screen. Oh, hold on just a second. Not showing up. Okay, now I can share my screen. Here we are. Okay, here I am on my account. I'll go to my knitting basket, because once you go to, well, let me start from the beginning. If you haven't gone to the early access link, this is what it is: Shop Designers 1 Early Access, and that's in the Knit-Along. I'll put it in the chat too, just in case. Oh, it's not going to let me do that while I'm sharing. Okay, well, I'll just continue sharing and then I'll put it in the chat. So here we are. If I want to go ahead and download, or rather create a project with the Cloisters, I can view the details. And then there's a description. And then down below, there's a yardage estimate tool for this design. It's a little different than when you create the project and put in your measurements. The yardage estimates are a little more accurate, because this is just based on chest size otherwise. So I'm going to go ahead and create the project. And it's added to my knitting basket. And this is it. And when I open it, you'll see this click to update instructions. That only happens when a design is in early access. And thank you. I think this was Debbie's idea. So you can click to update the instructions if the designer, in this case me, makes a change and you haven't reached that part and you want to make the change. But right now we're so far along with the samples that there should not be any changes at this point. So instructions, and here you'll see the yarn that's used for the project. However, no measurements yet, so no yardage estimates yet. When I put my measurements in there, okay, then I scroll down again. Now I have estimated yardage requirements. And I have a schematic. And this is what it looks like for me. And then this part down below, I can just close those schematics. And then this is the important part, because you might not want to use, not want to use the yarn that is given for the pattern, Erin Moore Light, which is a beautiful tweed. But sometimes people use what's in their stash or whatever. And if you do decide to change it, then you click a box or both boxes. You're changing both yarns, and then you can pick another yarn. Now, chances are, this is your first time using KnitWiz, you won't have another yarn in your library. So it'll be empty. So you come up here, back to the links, and you can see all the project links are up here at the top. And this is where you add yarn, right here. And then you just add the yarn. There's a few yarns in the public yarn library, or you just add your own information, which is what I mostly do. I just add what I want to put in here. And a lot of times I'll use hand spun. So it's my own hand spun. And then I add as much information as I want. And if it's hand spun, I actually put in twist and different things under say more. So then I add my yarn. And then once you add your yarn and you go back to your knitting basket, it'll take you back to your knitting basket. But if you're doing something else, then you just go back to your knitting basket, go back to the pattern, and then you can go ahead and add yarns down here. And then once you do that, you'll want to make a swatch. And after you make your swatch, these two boxes become important. If you're using a different weight yarn, this is a DK. These swatch yardages are probably fine. You don't need to change anything unless you're changing the weight of your yarn. But you could, if you wanted to, keep track of how much yardage you use in your swatch and add them to these boxes or swatches. There's 2 swatches for this. And then this is where you add your details. And the details that were here were mine. Actually, in this case, Serena's. But you can change your, it's always copied from what the designer has done over into a project, and then you just change it. And you don't have to match the designer's gauge. But you just put your own numbers in here and then save changes. And once you do that, if I do that, then actually what happens is my schematics could change, because if my stitch count is very different, or if I'm using a bulky and it called for a sport weight, stitch count does matter in the schematic. And so those numbers could change a little bit. And the other thing that happens is that your instructions will be updated. And that reminds me, if you're knitting along and you're concerned that your gauge has changed, then go ahead and block part of your sweater and measure your gauge on that blocked part and check your gauge. And if it has changed a lot, or significantly enough that it's going to throw off your sweater, then just go ahead and edit your swatches again here, and your instructions will update for your new gauge. And then this is where I always keep my pre-blocked gauge information and other things like that. And that's how I know if my pre-block has changed, then my blocked gauge will change as well. So, and that's everything. I mean, that's all there is to it. And then you just click view your instructions. And then they go and they're created. And here they are.
Hey, Kathy, if you can hear me, I have a question.
Yes.
Do you, how I say this, do you need to be a subscriber to KnitWiz to do this?
No. Everybody that's signed up for the KAL, that's what that early access link is for. Let me stop sharing.
Well, even like in future, when we're not doing a knit along, and I have a pattern I wish to have you manipulate it so it fits better, do I need to be a subscriber at that point?
No. If you purchase a pattern, or if you design your own pattern, either way, it's $9.95 for a pattern.
Okay.
Or you subscribe and then you get unlimited designs, but you still have to purchase a pattern. If another designer designs a pattern and sells it on the site, then it's open for purchase.
Sure. Okay.
That's $9.95. Yeah.
Okay.
But you can still get your own.
Some very avid people would benefit a great deal by having a subscription.
Yes. Especially as it goes along, and I have hats and scarves and socks and all the different things you can make. but I started with sweaters because I decided to start with the hardest thing, you know, so it's the most benefit, I think. Because I mean, let's face it, I never use a pattern for a hat. You know, I just make it.
Just go.
And probably a lot of people just make it because it's just 120 stitches and you go around in a circle. So, you know, sweaters are different. So
I'm gonna, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I am going in and out of mute because I have 1,900 animals. One's drinking a giant bottle of water over here, and the cat's hollering, and the kids just got home. So if I'm yakking at you and you don't hear it, just remind me you mute some.
Okay.
All right.
Well, there's one more thing we have to do today. But before we do that, does anybody have questions about creating a project or anything like that?
Just wondering if, like, I realized I made this back of the neck measurement wrong. Is it possible to change just a couple of measurements without having to, okay.
Yeah, you just go on the sidebar, you might have seen your measurement list and just go to your measurement list and click on edit and just edit your measurements.
Right, thanks.
No problem.
Is it easy to add a photo to the swatches?
You just click on select a photo and just add it. It'll go up to the cloud. That's where they're stored.
I have a question on the swatch yardage. Do you generally figure that out by weighing your swatch and then converting it to the yardage, or
only if I forget to pre-measure my yards?
So you actually,
I take 18 yards usually, and because my kitchen table is 6 feet long. It's 2 yards long. And I just measure 18 yards and then I make my swatch and then I don't have to worry about it. And I take off if I have a lot left or whatever. If I have an extra yard left, then I take that off.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
But you can if your scale is good, mine only goes down to the single gram, and so that it's not accurate really enough in my opinion.
No, I don't think so either.
So the other thing I do sometimes is I just pull my swatch apart and measure it.
Oh, okay.
Which, I don't like doing because my yarn is crinkled and then you kind of got to pull it and then you don't know how accurate that is either. Yeah.
Right.
The best thing is to pre-measure it or have a good scale.
How do you manage if you're doing a yarn that's already is already a sweater? And, so you take your gauge off your sweater. How do you know what your yardage is then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I got a sweater I made and I want to use that yarn again. And I could take,
Do you have the information about the yarn?
Probably because it was one of my Francos.
Okay. So you could probably it's as long as it's not that one with the intarsia design in it.
Well, it has a mosaic in it, but I have the rest of the sweater.
The same yarn though. So do you know if you weigh your sweater, you know how much yarn you used because you can weigh what you have left over. You can figure it out that way as well.
I still have the yarn. So if I want to use that yarn but a different color, do I need to make another swatch in that color?
Oh, no. Not unless you're using different needles.
Nope.
Okay. Be fine.
How long ago did you make it?
Last year.
Because your gauge can change.
That's true. Gauge can change. I knit one a really beautiful sweater one time, but I was a huge KU basketball fan, and that one sleeve was really tight compared to everything else because I was watching the game and just getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Don't do that anymore. So anyway, But before we leave, we've only got 10 minutes and we have prizes to give out. There are two prizes in this knit-along, and one is a year's subscription to KnitWiz, what Joe Ellen was talking about, the subscription, which is $144 value. And that's the first prize. And then the grand prize is enough yarn to make a sweater. And what I did was I used a random generator. I put everybody's, and I included people who weren't here, but I think all the winners are here actually, because I think in Colorado anyway, it's not legal if you have a raffle, and you only allow people who show up for the meeting. If they signed up for something. So everyone's included, but I believe all the winners are here anyway. And the first prize winner, hold on, let me check my sheet just so I get it right.
You want a drum roll?
Drum roll, do you have a drum there? Okay. So Linda, you are the first prize winner for the year's subscription to KnitWiz. And I'm not sure which Linda it is. I think it's Linda Webb because it's JLS Linda.
Yep, that's me.
Yay!
Okay. Congratulations.
Well, I'm very excited.
So all I have to do to get you on that list is put you on that list of people with a free subscription. So
Perfect.
you'll be able to do that after I do that, and that'll be later today. And then you can design to your heart's content and make whatever, and it's always free.
Well, I'm very excited about learning new techniques with knitting. So
good. So anyway, congratulations.
Thank you.
Our first grand prize winner is Sidra.
So.
What'd you say?
I already picked out the color of that yarn, so.
Yeah, I know. But you can knit a different sweater with it. So you just have to pick out the yarn you want, and I will send it.
Okay, I'll let you know which color it is.
Okay. All right. And yeah, and your size. Well, I can look up your size. You don't have to worry about that. So congratulations. I couldn't believe it when it was you, because I figured it would be somebody I hadn't met yet. But that's like one in the first knit along, Cindy won a prize. And it's like, okay. But fair's fair.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So how do I watch this from the beginning, since I couldn't join at the beginning of this meeting?
It takes about an hour
okay.
to transcribe it, and then I can push it up to YouTube.
Perfect.
And it'll be in the same channel that all the fall KAL videos are in.
Thank you.
Not channel, but I meant playlist on our channel. Because now YouTube has the playlist thing, which is kind of nice, I think.
And you're going to work on the Cloister cardigan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I actually have it mostly done, but I just have to convert that one stitch from in the round to flat so that I can get it to line up correctly.
Like that one.
Yeah.
I got a quick question. So what if we wanted to knit the, I forgot the name of the sweater, the A-line pullover in as a cardigan? Can your software convert that, or?
Which one?
Cloisters
one that Serena's doing?
It's got the lace on the bottom.
Yeah, that's the one. That's what I'm working on right now.
Oh,
because
okay, gotcha.
Several people have asked for it as a cardigan.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured in one of these Zoom sessions, I would also go over how to convert a cardigan to a pullover and vice versa using the software.
Nice.
If you have a pattern that you already own or something like that, and you want to make a cardigan out of it, or you want to make a pullover, or you want to tweak something, then you just put all the information into KnitWiz, and then it'll convert it for you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but the tricky part is making sure you have, if you're doing a cardigan, and you're not just doing plain stockinette, you want to make sure your pattern mirrors nicely in the front. So
Sure.
that's what I'm still need to do. So. And I'll say hi to Zia, Isaac's daughter, and my best friend is from Iceland, by the way. So I don't know if you're from Iceland or if you're here in the States, but welcome.
Faroe Islands.
Oh, the Faroe Islands.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice. My neighbor 1 block away stopped in the car to say he just got back from the Faroe Islands trip. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Welcome to KnitWiz. So
yeah, thank you.
Are you? Do you speak Icelandic or what do you speak?
We speak Faroese.
Faroese.
Yeah, it's like Icelandic, all Norwegian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not Danish.
No.
It's the spelling is like Icelandic, almost similar, but it's like, how do I say? If you want to say how are you, you say "Kusu hevutu there." It's Japanese. It's totally alien.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, welcome, and your English is very good. So
thank you.
You can always email if you have questions and you're not sure how to ask too.
Yeah, I will do that. Thank you.
So, does anybody else have any questions or anything they want to talk about? We have just a few minutes left. Next, I'll tell you what I'm going to talk about next week. I'm going to Providence this weekend, so I probably won't have as much time, but I do want to go over the bow and cross, and also on the shadow play cardigan, in case anybody's doing that. And also, I want to talk about the increases at the side seams on the cloisters. And I'm going to be putting up a chart or a couple of charts, because depending on your size, you would either have the knits on the side or you'd have the purls on the side. And to make a nice looking increase for that A-line. So I just want to talk about that.
How many bobbins did you use for the cardigan? How many bobbins are you using for the cardigan?
Too many.
Yeah.
It's 10 sets, but since I decided I'd have 2 main colors, then I have a bobbin. Well, I still have a bobbin for each of those in any case, but yeah, too many. It's very slow that way. So what I'm playing with is, when I'm working on it, should I keep with bobbins or just use a couple of yards each time and let that go?
Yeah.
And then every time I come to a row, just take my fingers and smooth it out, which I'm finding, I think, is working better.
Okay.
Because the bobbins, they just get twisted and knotted.
Yeah.
It's irritating. And knitting is not supposed to be irritating. Although I do like the result. It's not supposed to be irritating. So
I didn't realize it was like 4 colors until I saw.
Yeah. Well, I actually made kits up and figured out yardages for 2 colors or 3 colors because of that. You know, not everybody's going to want to do all those colors. Anyway. Well, it was good to see you all. I'm getting together with Karen, I think, tomorrow. I bought a boom arm, and we're going to go over short rows. And so if anybody wants me to go over short rows next week or any other particulars, and Serena will be back as well, so we can go over all of that. And you'll be more into the nitty gritty, because the hardest part of the cloisters is at the top as you're starting. And you want to work both of those shoulders at the same time, and you do not want to watch TV while you do it. No. You want to make sure you work both shoulders in both directions every time. I can't tell you how many times I had to start over the first time because I was trying to watch TV. Yeah. So don't do that. Anyway, so it's good to see you all, and I will talk to you next time.
Okay.
Nice to see you. Bye.
Good weekend.